Hello, I'm the Bad Luck Gamer, and I'm so sorry it's been so long since I've been back. Uh, I've been very busy lately, but just trying to get all my games in order. Also, my sister is literally getting married in like 5 hours or so. So there's that. My cousin's getting married soon. I just had a funeral like a couple weeks ago. Also, my players have just been having, life happens, and a lot of games have been kind of called out lately, and I really do apologize for that. I'm always going to advocate for your life over tabletop games. Like, take care of what you need to, because if you don't, you bring that to the game, and you're not going to make the game fun anyway. So, just handle what you're doing, handle what you gotta do, and then just come to the games when you're there. Tabletop is supposed to be fun, and as a content creator, it can be a little hard to kind of work around other people's schedules. But this is just, what I got to do, and I just need to resolve myself to produce more videos, and that's what I'm doing today. We're going to be talking about we're going to be talking about four classes. Two of my predictions for the upcoming classes for Pathfinder 2E that they was announced like a week or so ago, and then two more classes that I would like to see implemented into the game in some form or fashion. Now, a lot of this prediction is going to be based on what I think the next book these classes are going to be coming out in. Classes usually only come out in big, important books. We have Secrets of Magic, which has always been a big book. I think there's Ultimate Magic in the last one. Guns and Gears, another really big book, adding a whole bunch of things. Advanced Player's Guide has always had new classes in it. Obviously, something like the Mwangi Expanse, while it's an interesting lore book, they don't have new classes, but they do have a lot of cool features. I actually really want to make a video on the Mwangi Expanse, but we'll have to get to that some other time. So I think the next book that they're going to release these classes in is going to be their new form of Ultimate Combat. The Ultimate Combat book in the prior edition was just they added more fighter feats. They added, I think, the Cavalier in that book, or no, because Cavalier was in the Advanced Player's Guide. I don't remember what they had before. I wasn't really that into Pathfinder 1E, and I was playing it with other people. I only have like the core book and the race book and Rise of the Rune Lords, and that's about all I had from Pathfinder 1E. But I do know that it was a book that had a lot of new weapons. Maybe it was a samurai that came out. They had some new classes, and they added a bunch of new fighting feats. And so I think what they're going to be adding to this new book are predominantly martial fighting classes. But I'm sure if you're a longtime Pathfinder fan, you've already recognized one of the silhouettes I put out in my thumbnail. So we're going to go ahead and talk about everyone's favorite, Inquisitor. The Inquisitor is definitely a longtime favorite and one of the most highly demanded classes for second edition, because I don't know actually why everyone really likes the Inquisitor so much. I think it's because it is like the bounty hunter law dog kind of variants to like what a paladin or champion is kind of like. So the Inquisitor, for those who are not aware, were always agents of law. They follow deities, and they enacted whatever by whatever means necessary, what they believed necessary for maintaining their god's edicts, and mostly just maintaining law and order. They sound very similar to the Hell Knights, and they do have a lot of crossover, but the Inquisitors are definitely more based on like following god edicts, while like the Hell Knights were just about law itself, just law, order, the measuring chain, with some devils thrown in, a little bit of devil spice. So the Inquisitor, I think, is going to fill out a really good niche, because with the champion, our prior paladin, they always had the tenets of good, so they always occupied like the top row of the alignment chart. And then there's the anti-paladins, which obviously followed at the bottom row. And now they're going to have, I think, the Inquisitors, which are going to fill out the lawful side of that chart. I think that they're going to have their judgments, which were like abilities they used to enhance their abilities or damage their foes. I think their judgments are going to come as focus spells for the Inquisitors because they were also pseudo divine casters. Not they were like champions. They had some divine casting, but not a whole bunch. I think that they're going to be doing something similar with the Inquisitors this time around. And Inquisitors were also kind of like Rangers. One of the reasons why I really liked the Inquisitor, and one of my first characters in first edition before, was the Inquisitor because they were like a Ranger, but also bounty hunter, paladin kind of build. I thought it was really, really cool. And I thought they were really, really interesting. And so, I made a character based on like collecting evil people and turning them into the order. So I definitely think that they're going to have focus spells. They're going to be their judgment spells. I think they're like subclasses. Subclasses. By the way, not every character, not every class needs subclasses. Just so you know, um, because there's tons of variability you can already have just with picking feats. But if they do have some kind of like subclasses for the Inquisitor, I think they're going to have like particular orders for like slaying demons, capturing criminals, uh, the Inquisitor, excuse me, the one who goes out and picks up, or tries to seek out any kind of corruption in orders and everything like that. The ones who kind of are in the more social side of things. And I think each of these ones will have access to particular judgments for their kind of like archetype. Where like the Monster Hunter one might have abilities that make their weapons do good damage or cold iron damage or whatever supernatural creatures like fays and fiends don't like. I think the bounty hunter one's going to have more judgment, like a branding strike like they had before, where they can hit a target and then for like 24 hours they can track that target unerringly. So I don't know what they'll do for like the investigator type Inquisitor, but I'm sure they have some options for that as well. I also think that like our champion, they're gonna have access to the domain initiate feat, and they're gonna have access to some domain spells, and maybe even like kind of expanding on that and allowing them to take more domain type spells from other aspects of their god. But it's hard to say. I'm not 100% sure what they're going to do with all that. But Inquisitor is definitely one I think they're definitely coming out with. And I've talked way too much about Inquisitor. I know it's just the one everyone's expecting, so that's kind of why I went on that. But I want to talk about now the other image that I posted. And this one's going to be the kineticist. And sorry, they just got shoved into the corner of the room. But the kineticist is another interesting one. And why I think that they're bringing the kineticist into their ultimate combat book is because the kineticist uses their life energy to like augment themselves, shoot ki blast like things. They're like a monk, but not really a monk. What made the kineticist really cool is like they're like a pseudo psychic key using character. And I think that they're going to bring the kineticist in as kind of like a character that can augment themselves. I think a lot of their like focus spells are going to be like augments to enhance their body, and I think they're even going to get like some focus cantrips that are going to be like augment cantrips where like they use an action, and for a round they get a bonus to either a save or a DC or an attack roll or something like that. I think the kineticist is a really good fit for a book like that, especially because a kineticist can use hand-to-hand combat. They can use weapons. They were kind of like anything. They were very customizable. They had a huge seat of like augments they could do. Fifth edition had something, or not fifth edition. D&D had something before that was very, very similar. A kind of like psychic warrior style class, and that's definitely what I think that they're going to do for the kineticist in the Ultimate Combat book. And I think the kineticist is going to have lots of feats for picking up different types of augments. I think they're going to have lots of feats that are going to be like combat feats or like key-like feats. I think they're going to have like a mix between, kind of like martial abilities and key abilities. They might have like, they don't really have a key pool in this one, so I don't know how they're going to work it in, but we're gonna see. Oh, definitely focus stances. I think is going to be a really big thing with the kineticist. So the kineticist, I think, is going to really fill that telekinetic psychic gap. That's also going to fill like the psychic warrior kind of gap. Uh, don't have as much to talk about the kinetic. I don't have as much experience with the kineticist, unfortunately. I only played first edition Pathfinder for like the first 3 years, like only first couple years that it came out, and like one of the last books that I really saw was the Advanced Player's Guide. Beyond that, I'm very much a noob to all that kind of stuff, so I might be wrong, but I've been digging into Pathfinder a lot lately. I played a bunch of Pathfinder Kingmaker, which is very much based on first edition, as well as I'm playing the newest Wrath of the Righteous. So, I've been really immersing myself as much as I can in a game that's 10 years old. It takes time. You gotta do it at your own pace. But now I want to talk about. I know this volume might be going on a little long, but I want to talk about two more options that I think would be really interesting choices. Now, like I said moments ago, I'm not the most familiar when it comes to Pathfinder's like extensive list of character options, and I'm not 100%. So if something I mentioned already belonged in Pathfinder before, well, I think they should bring it in, or at least I think these would be really cool ideas as well. So my first idea that's not a prediction, but like first thing I think would be really cool is a weapon master or a man at arms style class where you have a bunch of stances or a bunch of abilities that change based on what weapon type you're using in that scenario. I think basing an entire class off of having a weapon for every occasion is really, really cool. I think they'll have stances that will change based on what weapon they're using, or they'll just have stances for every type of weapon. I think that'd also be really, really cool. Pure martial class, no magic casting, no focus spells, nothing like that. Just a bunch of cool fighting feats and a bunch of cool fighting stances. I want a class that makes me change my weapons all the time. I want that. I want that so bad because it's so easy to get mired in like a particular weapon because you've super invested in it or you have a very particular playstyle. I'm very glad they don't have weapon proficiencies anymore like they did in first edition or specialties, because now you can just have more weapons in the same group, just play like the way you want. And I think that's really, really cool. And having a class that really utilizes that flexibility is such a good idea. Paizo, please make a weapon master. Make it so that I can have a character with just a bunch of magic weapons on their back and they can just do cool stuff with it. That's all I want. That's all I want. My other one, I do know, I believe that it came out as like a subclass, but I might be mistaken. It might have actually come out as a class at some point in Pathfinder First Edition. But I think the next one should be the Shinobi. Now, people are going to be like, well, you got Rogue and they kind of do Shinobi things. No. One, Rogue has some preconceived notions with it that I think kind of hurt the class overall. Not that you have to play that way, but I feel like people feel motivated to play that way because that's just the kind of play style that the class represents. But also this, the Rogue is a stealthy, backstabbing, do-it-all kind of class, scale monkey kind of class. The Shinobi, I want to be a shadow warrior, a martial class that focuses on ambushing enemies, and it just has a whole slew of cool abilities, cool fighting feats. Again, another not magic-based focus class, but instead has a bunch of feats like a smoke bomb that they can throw down as an action, and for the rest of the turn, they get concealed. Would be really, really cool. Or the ability as a reaction to like do the whole log replacement thing where an enemy attacks and the Shinobi makes like a DC flat check to like swap out of it. I think that'd be really cool. I just want a class that just has so much potential to use a very dynamic play style that has just a lot of cool abilities. And overall, just it's just an aesthetic style for a class to play as. You know, it's very aesthetic to have this kind of Shadow Warrior style, and you can bring in, you know, the Kusarigama. It's a great weapon, 10-foot reach weapon that has versatile slashing, bludgeoning damage. Uh, Grab, you know, there you go. Just made the Kusarigama for the system. I would say I would use a D6, you know, maybe a D8, but probably a D6. But yeah, the Shinobi I think is really cool. You get a whole bunch of features, maybe extra abilities to climb walls, to be stealthy, to have things that rogues kind of get, but also just more for like a straight up fighting class. The Shinobi is a warrior. They are a fighter. They're not a coward. They don't try to backstab. I don't even want them to have sneak attack. If anything, I want them to inflict like bleeding or poison effects on flat-footed targets. That's it. But yeah, so sorry, this is gonna be the bit of a long video. I had some news I sprinkled in at the beginning, and I also, speaking of news, I have made another channel specifically for all my campaigns and long VODs that I'm putting up. It's gonna be Battle Gamer, all one word, VODs. So you can check me out there. Catch up with all our current campaigns and future campaigns coming out. Also, we'll have some new campaigns coming out in the next couple months, I'm sure, or at least one at the very least. Our Wednesday game is coming pretty close to the end, and our Anima game on Monday is also getting pretty close to the end, but I feel like Anima is going to go out to the end of the year, and then we'll probably have a month break before we start the next part. So look out for those. If you want the chance to hang out with us, you can check me out at my Discord. I have a Discord link. I'll put it down below in the video description as well. You can go over and check us out over on Twitch. We are working right now to try to move to multi-streaming. I want to multi-stream on both Twitch and YouTube and maybe some other stuff like Facebook. So look out for us there. We're really trying to expand. I'm so sorry some of the games and some of the videos have just been so long coming out. It's been a really busy time of year, and it's not just me. It's also my players. So, you know, you just have to respect that all our lives matter, and they all move independently from each other. But with that, I'm going to tell you all good night, and good luck with your games. I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night. I don't know why I said good night. Really weird. Yeah, I'm better with my outro on my Twitch than I am on YouTube. But yeah, anyway, bye.